Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And salam sejahtera. Okay. Today I will cover topic 4, which is on the service quality in the public sector. After learning this topic, you should be able to explain what is service quality, the characteristic of service, and then the dimensions of the service quality. The service actually is a work or experience offered by one party to the opposite party. For example, now I'm providing you lecture on the PAD 253. So I'm providing you the service of the education. Okay, this service, it can be seen as a process, and is closely associated with a physical product. But the service is intangible and usually does not result in ownership any of the factors of the production. So, service ni dia boleh associated dengan physical product. For example, when I'm giving you lecture on PAD 253, so I'm a physical product. I yang mengajarnya, kena ada pengajarnya. So, service yang you dapat adalah lecture, education. Okay? And then it is a willingness to provide high quality services plays an important role in service industries. But when a service provider, when they want to give service to the citizens, they must give high quality services. That's why when you go to any public sector agencies, you akan dapat some sort as we call as an evaluation form, ataupun you kena tick ataupun klik lah mana-mana button. Macam contohnya you pergi tabung haji, you nak deposit money in tabung haji kan, banyak dapat duit PTPTN. So bila you habis urusan di kaunter, you kena tekan muka smile ataupun muka masam. So if you satisfied with the service rendered, you akan tekan smile. Tapi bila you tak puas hati, you akan tekan masam lah, contohnya lah. Okay. And then because quality of service is critical to the survival and profitability of such organizations, and also it is a profitable strategy for the organization because the organization, they will improve from the feedback from the organization. Okay. And then it is very critical today because customer satisfaction and service quality are critical issues in the most service industries. For example, yang memang sangat crucialnya adalah medical industries, health industries, airline industries, education industries. Sekarang ni kan tambah-tambah lagi pandemic issues. Macam contohnya kalau you nak dapatkan servis di hospital, sekarang kita nak mengurangkan kontak di antara people. So hospital dia dah menggalakkan kalau untuk mana-mana yang dah ada follow up patient yang dah memang biasa berurusan dengan hospital, kita galakkan patient dapatkan ubat-ubatan melalui pos. Hospital yang hantar. Tapi of course lah, patient kena bayar lah transportation cost. Itulah one of the service how government want to improve their public service delivery. So the definition of the service, according to the Evans and Lindsay, it is any primary or complementary activity that does not directly produce a physical product. Aktiviti yang kita bagi servis ni, kita tak produce physical product. It is the non-goods part of the transaction between the buyer and seller. Okay? And then according to the Sharon and Dobson, it is a form of product that consists of activities, benefits or satisfaction offered for sale that are essentially intangible and do not result in the ownership of anything. For example, sekarang ni kan musim online service. So, bila online seller nak hantar barang pada buyer, so digunakan transportation service lah, via pos laju ataupun GDEX ataupun nationwide. So, from the service dia dapat adalah delivery service yang customer dapat. Dia tak boleh nak tengok service tu. Okay, so you hanya dapat satisfaction ataupun benefit. You hanya dapat barang within the time frame lah. Kalau pos laju ataupun GDEX, of course dia akan bagi masa dalam masa 3 hari bekerja terus dapat barang. And then according to the Bittner, Booms and Maurer, it is a consumer's overall impression of the relative inferiority or superiority of the organization and its service. And then according to the parasuraman ni you akan jumpa banyak kali lah kalau kita belajar pasal service, because dia adalah father of quality. It is the function of the differences between the expectation and performance along the quality dimensions. Bila you menerima servis yang you bayar tu, you akan check balik lah kalau servis quality sama ada you dapat satisfaction daripada service provider or not. Okay? Then according to the Philip Kotler, a service is an act of performance that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible and does not result in the ownership of anything. Its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. Okay? So overall, the customer's judgment of the overall excellence of the service provided in relation to the quality that was expected. Service quality assessment are formed on judgment of the outcome quality, process quality, or physical environment quality. So overall, from the service quality, you akan dapat satisfaction branded from the outcome, process and physical environment quality. I bagi contoh, kalau you pergi mana-mana public hospital, so overall, you akan ada judgement of these 3 quality in terms of the outcome. Sama ada you pergi hospital, adakah sakit you makin bertambah atau makin berkurang. Then during the process, treatment yang you dapat semasa berkunjung ke hospital, adakah you menerima layanan yang baik daripada daripada medical staff, and then you boleh judge the physical environment quality. Adakah hospital tu cukup facility untuk bagi rawatan pada you ataupun sebaliknya lah. Basically, it is about the meeting customer needs and requirements, how well the service level delivered matches customers' expectations, and then the organization then must translate the expectation into the performance standards and specification. Finally, it becomes customer judgment and result, whereby the customers compare their expectation of service with their perception of the actual service delivered. You akan compare you punya expectation and you punya actual service delivered lah. Kalau you tengok, you masuk je hospital, contohnya you masuk HSM, you expect you dapat good service delivery from the medical staff. Tapi selepas you dah merasai pengalaman yang you terima tu, you boleh buat evaluation lah sama ada you berpuas hati ataupun tidak. Is expected service is the same as actual service, then the customer expectation are met lah. You sangat berpuas hati, you akan pulang dengan gembira dan you punya kesakitan tu dah sembuh. Tapi you akan rasa macam makin satisfied lah dengan quality service yang diterima daripada hospital HUSM tadi tu. Okay? So that's all on the definition of the service. I will move to the characteristic of the service after this. So please take a break. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we proceed with the characteristic of service. There are six characteristics which are typically intangible, highly inseparable, heterogeneity, unable to store, durability, and last one is perishability. Okay, I will explain one by one. First, for the intangible product. As I mentioned before, service is intangible, which is we cannot touch them as they are not the physical object. So, when the service is intangible, can be difficult for customers to understand what they are getting when they buy an intangible product or service. Normally, consumer they will feel that they has the right and opportunity to see, touch, hear, smell, or taste the goods before they buy them. But this is not applicable to the services. The services are not known to the customer before they take them. Um, in my slide, I'll give you an example of the intangible service, which is life insurance. Through BSN Takaful 3-in-1 plan, which is it is a service that gives protection, savings, and medical card to the consumer. From the Pro BSN Takaful 3-in-1 plans, consumer they might see this as a contract on a piece of paper. Tak nampak apa-apa pun apa dalam tu. So, but inside of this takaful plan, in return, consumer they will get thousand of ringgit. So macam contohnya lah, kalau if consumer they apply for the protection or saving, sometimes they will get protection in terms of medical benefits, ataupun macam kalau contohnya kalau ada accidents ke, bila dia admitted, dia boleh dapat pampasan lah daripada insurance. And then for the saving ni, kalau dia akan dapat dalam certain amount lah, ikut berapa tahun dia invest dalam Pro BSN Takaful plan tadi. Okay, and then normally when service provider they want to promote takaful or life insurance, people they will feel stressed and worried because sometimes people they tend to give a negative emotion. Dia bagi contohnya macam sekiranya kalau encik meninggal, jadi macam people tak suka macam tu. So service provider kalau dia nak market dia produk, dia must use terms like peace of mind, relax, calm, and then give full of satisfaction and protection to their consumer. And then there is little or no tangible evidence to show one service has been performed. Thus, makes people difficult to evaluate the service prior to the purchase made in and may be considered as risky. Sebab kita tak nampak apa-apa, kita hanya menerima servis sahaja. And then the other example is mobile network provider like Celcom, Maxis, Digi, or consultation with a doctor, investment advice, legal advice, and etc. Okay. And second, for the highly inseparable. Okay, for the highly inseparable, services cannot be separated from the service provider. That means the production and consumption of many services are simultaneously done. For example, dia kena sekali harung. Macam contohnya, you pergi salon, you nak potong rambut. Bila you dapat nak treatment ataupun service untuk potong rambut, dia kena ada service provider which is barber. Tak boleh. You kata kat receptionist tu cakap, saya nak potong rambut. Dia tak akan terpotong dengan sendiri. Mesti ada service provider. Thus, the service provider will become a part of a service. Production and consumption of services go hand in hand. Other example in my slide is e-hailing services. Contohnya, you daripada rumah, you nak pergi shopping mall. Contohnya nak pergi Aeon. Then you tak ada transport. Then kita pun nak panggil lah Grab ke, MyCar ke. Then you pun, bila Grab sampai, Grab akan datang sendiri dengan kereta dan you akan dapat servis driving service pergi Aeon. Then the presence of e-hailer is essential to provide the service. That means the presence of the driver tu memang kena ada, wajib. Dia ada example, contohnya macam ni. Macam kita nak belajar kan, nak belajar pasal service quality. You nak belajar tapi servisnya dah dapat dah. Belajar, education ada kelas tapi kena ada cikgu. Okay? And then the quality of services, when you get the heterogeneity, the quality of services cannot be standardized. It reflects the potential for high variability in service delivery, and it also provides a room for flexibility and customization. Macam tadi kan, contohnya macam kalau you nak pergi macam Ahmad nak pergi Aeon. So taxi driver dia akan hantar pergi Aeon. So dia tak boleh dia tak boleh samalah. Dia ikut demand customer. Macam Aisyah nak pergi hospital. Ain pula nak pergi restaurant. So lain-lain tempat lah. Okay. And heterogeneity, the quality of services cannot be standardized. It reflects the potential or high variability in service delivery. In my slide, I put an example of video clip of Datuk Siti Nurhaliza lah. Contohnya macam you nak dengar lagu Datuk Siti. So you boleh tengok YouTube, or you can refer to other channel, for example Instagram ataupun Google ataupun lain-lain channel macam radio, TV and so on lah. Okay. And then system and procedures are put into place to make sure the service provided is consistent. Tapi kita akan letaklah system and procedure. Macam contohnya in public sector, you tengok kita ada SOP. SOP dari sudut lecturer, macam mana lecturer provide education to their students, macam mana police dia membuat investigation ataupun inspection lah di mana-mana kawasan yang perlu. And then the service firm should make an effort to deliver high and consistent quality by selecting good and qualified personnel for rendering the service. Okay. And then the other characteristic of service is it is unable to store. In the sale of goods, after the completion of the process, the goods are transferred in the name of the buyer and he becomes the owner of the goods. For example, you buy a book. So, bila you beli buku, you dapat buku dan you jadi owner of the book. But in the case of services, the users have only access to the service. They cannot own the service. For example, you book a hotel room. So you book for 2 days. So after second day tu you kena check out lah. Bilik hotel tu bukan kepunyaan you dah. Dia dah jadi milik orang lain dah. Untuk orang yang book selepas you. Contoh lah. And the other example is doctor's time, purchase of shares and so on. Okay. And then for the durability, the public will keep on using services provided by the public sector. However, the services may become obsolete quickly via changing customer demand and technology. There is a need to create customer-focused market orientation and proficiency in new service development. It is possible via service brand. For example, I use current situation lah, with the COVID-19 situation all campuses in Malaysia, they use the open distance learning ODL. So when use the ODL, all the students, they get the opportunity to learn from the comfort of their own homes with their family close to them. And then we have pro and con lah by using ODL. First, learning materials will become more easier for the students to access and do their own readings and research on the internet. However, there are also disadvantages of using ODL. Sometimes the communication is limited, internet coverage is also limited lah. Di sekitar kawasan student lah. Sometimes di tempat-tempat lecturer pun ada juga yang tak sampai internet coverage lah. So kita akan biasanya gunalah kalau untuk ODL students, they use the online platform such as we use Future, Google Meet, WebEx, WhatsApp and Telegram, and what else? We use Zoom, okay? And then for the last one is perishability. Okay, the perishability is a duration of the service delivery which is possible in two ways. First, definite period. Definite period ni, the service will not be performed if the customer does not request and consume the service at the time given. For example, contohnya you pergi restaurant and then you order burger, you pergi KBB Burger. So, restaurant dia tak akan siapkan burger kecuali you order ataupun you request dulu. And then in the second situation, it will be vanished after the service has been consumed. For example, late for dental appointment and then apa lagi? What else? Kalau you ada appointment dengan mana-mana doktor ke ataupun lecturer ke, dia akan void lah. Okay. And then after this, I will explain the dimensions of service quality. Thank you. T. Okay, class. Now we move to the dimensions of service quality. Okay, for the dimensions of service quality, Farah Suleiman et al. 1985 have developed a service quality model known as ServQual. The model provides as an instrument for measuring service quality. There are 5 dimensions in the model, which are ServQual, the tangibility, reliability, what else? Assurance, empathy, and responsiveness. And then Parasrama et al. Also emphasized that the dimension of reliability refers to the core aspect of the service, while the other dimensions refer to the relational or processes of the service provided. Okay, we move to the main dimension first, which is reliability. Okay. For the reliability, it has an ability to perform the promised service dependably and accurately. For example, when the service provider they get money from the customer, they will issue an accurate invoice lah. For example ni macam you bayar yuran untuk semester ni, so bendahari akan issue you an accurate invoice. Okay. And then another example is a confirmed itinerary. When you book an online ticket lah, di itinerary tu you boleh tengok the confirmed flight departing and arriving on time. Okay, and then for the assurance, it is knowledge and courtesy of the employees and their ability to convey trust and confidence. So bila you menerima mana-mana servis daripada service provider, and please ensure that you get a good service by the highly trained service provider. For example, if you get medication, yang bagi apa rawatan tu adalah highly trained doctor lah. Okay, bukannya sebab ada juga case lah kalau di private clinic lah, biasanya ada kadang-kadang ni private clinic dia macam dia ambil juga doktor-doktor yang tak ada license lah. So sebab itulah kalau you dapat cuti MC tu, kita ada nombor certificate, like nombor license doktor, dia tu nombor MCA ke. Okay, nanti I check balik. Okay, and then for the tangibles, it must have a physical facilities, equipment and appearance of the personnel lah. Macam contohnya kalau in terms of the facility, tengok bila you nak dapatkan perawatan di klinik, mesti you akan tengok persekitaran klinik kan, adakah dia ada enough equipment in that clinic, ataupun you tengok appearance of the personnel. Contohnya bila you naik kapal terbang, you tengoklah the appearance of the personnel tu yang sangat meyakinkan dan yang sangat welcoming you untuk menaiki kapal terbang tersebut. So you as a consumer, you mesti akan rasa macam bangga bila dilayan dengan baik oleh service provider. And then for the empathy, the service provider must have empathy, which is caring, individualized attention, which is the firm must give to the customer. For example, a nurse counselling a patient. Macam contohnya macam ni lah, bila budak-budak kan kalau dia nak dapat injection ke, dia akan menangis, takut bila tengok jarum. Bukan hanya budak-budak, orang-orang dewasa pun takut juga sebenarnya bila tengok jarum kecil pun takut, apatah lagi jarum yang besar. So, nurse, dia akan jadi empathy, dia akan pujuk dulu patient. Okay, lepas ni, nurse bagi gula-gula, contohlah. So, itu kita panggil sebagai empathy lah. Ataupun macam contohnya kalau you pergi hospital dan you susah nak tolak pintu, berat. Kan, bila kita tak sihat, kita akan jadi macam otot-otot pun tak boleh nak bergerak dengan pantas, dengan gagah sikit. So, akan mungkin ada medical staff yang tolong di belakang, tolong buka pintu untuk you. Itulah yang kita katakan sebagai empathy. Kita mengambil berat, cakna, orang Kelantan kata. Okay, and then for the responsiveness, it is a willingness to help customers and provide from service lah. For example, when officer dia dengar deringan telefon, they will pick up a call within 3 second or 5 second. Dia bertanggungjawab untuk membuat kerja tanpa arahan lah. Okay. Untuk make you more clearer, I akan explain sekali lagi what is the dimensions of the service quality. Okay, for the reliability, it is an ability from the service provider to provide a good service that has been promised to their consumer. It is about dependability, accuracy and performance of the service provided. I give you example. Sometimes in public sector agency, dia nak bagi servis, dia akan bagi janji-janji yang boleh ditepati. It can be seen from the client charter. Client charter ni you biasa akan tengok lah di mana-mana office. Kalau macam kita di UiTM ni, di HEA ada client charter kita sendiri. And then sometimes you boleh juga tengok di website kita. Di website semua public sector agency akan ada client charter masing-masing. Okay. And then other example kalau in private sector, macam sekarang ni untuk musim pandemik ni, ramai consumer ataupun dan service provider dia suka beli online. Okay, for example, logistic industry include the Puslaju, GDAX, Nationwide and so on. They must able to ship item within the promised time. And then they must also show interest in solving problem. Parcel carriers get things right at the first time and parcel carrier provide the service within time they are promised. Example-nya macam pos laju. Pos laju dia janji 1 hari service delivery kan. Pos hari ni esok sampai lah. Okay. So tengoklah macam mana dia provide the good delivery to their consumer. So when they give good service delivery to the consumer, of course, it will gain the customer satisfaction and loyalty. And then bila kita terima barang dengan dengan baik, kita akan jadi macam akan bagi good review yang baik kepada service provider. Macam dia ada example, contohnya macam kalau you do online shopping through e-commerce platform di Shopee, di Lazada kan. Bila you nak beli barang, you scroll, duk tengok barang. Walaupun you nak beli, contohnya lah, kita nak beli pen, mesti you akan compare dengan mana-mana penjual. Kan? So, kita akan tengok dari sudut review customer tu sendiri. Okay? And then, in terms of the assurance, is knowledge and courtesy of the employees and ability to convey trust. The service provider, they need to have the competence, for example, right skills and knowledge to perform. Courtesy ni contohnya macam politeness, melayan customer dengan penuh sopan santun, and then security, physically and financially free from any danger and risk and credibility lah. Macam contohnya kalau you pergi klinik kan, atau pergi hospital, of course, hospital dia akan layan pesakit dengan baik, dengan ramah, dengan sopan santun. Sebab customer dia, patient ni, dia sangat sensitif. Kita bila sakit, kita akan jadi sensitif. So bila dapat, walaupun tak sembuh lagi, tapi bila orang layan dengan baik, insyaAllah akan sembuh cepat lah. Tapi bila kita sakit, bila orang layan dengan tak acuh, tak endah, buat dengan kasar, sakit tu jadi bertambah sakit. Kan? Betul tak? Setuju tak dengan I punya opinion ni? Okay. Then, dia ada example. I give you example lah. Macam kalau you nanti bila kita pandemik, insyaAllah pandemik dah berakhir, example-nya macam you di hostel. Dan tiba-tiba you sakit. And then, a student, kalau untuk warden asrama ni, the student will be sent to the hospital. Bila dia sakit, itulah contohnya assurance. And then macam kalau cikgu-cikgu kan sekolah rendah kan, kalau budak-budak belum balik lagi, ibu bapa tak ambil lagi anak mereka, kadang-kadang cikgu-cikgu ni dia tak balik walaupun dia memang kena balik dah sebab dah habis waktu sekolah kan. They are responsible to wait for the student to be picked up. Okay? Itulah contoh-contoh untuk assurance. And then for the tangibility, it is about the physical facilities and appearance of the personnel. Macam contoh, saya bagi contoh macam sekarang ni kan kita tengah hangat kecoh diperkatakan tentang pengeluaran EPF. Tengok, appearance personnel di EPF sangat menerima dengan hati yang terbuka customer-customer yang datang untuk berurusan TPF untuk pengeluaran KWSP. Dan dia sangat santun dan you tengok dia punya pemakaian pun sangat professional. And then for the tangibility, it deals with the appearance of the physical elements such as facilities, equipment, personnel and communication material. Macam bagi contoh ni, employees clean uniform and etc. lah. Macam dia ada example, you tengok kan, kalau macam hospital, dia ada dia punya standardized uniform lah. Kalau untuk nurse, doctors, dan yang lain-lain lah. Okay. Okay, then I will give you another example in terms of the tangibility. Tadi I bagi example in terms of the physical elements, such as the facilities, equipments. Macam kalau you pergi mana-mana tempat kan, kalau you nak dapatkan servis, you nak makan. Of course, you akan pergi tempat-tempat yang kedai yang bersih, yang provide you banyak kemudahan macam toilet yang bersih, toilet untuk OKU dan sebagainya lah. Okay. And then for the personnel and communication material, example yang akan bagi adalah about airline industry, macam Mars and Asia. The effective communication between the service provider and consumer is very important to ensure that consumer ataupun customer they receive the message. Okay, it is important for get a good message to make sure that the information is clear and concise for the chain of the command. For example, macam kalau lah tiba-tiba flight delay, kena communicate terus kepada customer. Kalau tak nanti customer akan menjejaskan loyalty customer lah, ataupun customer mungkin ada masalah lah, sebabnya bila delay dia akan mengambil masa yang banyak lah untuk customer kan. Okay, and then the other way is the miscommunication ni. Kalau lah communication ni tak bagus, it could delay the process of the service. Okay, if the communication is not delivered properly, for example, the company failed to announce the flight delay, it will make them look more unreliable. This will in turn impact its competitiveness, which is already a major concern for the company. And then last, ada lagi dua. For the empathy, it is the degree of care and giving individual attention as regard to easy access, easy approach, good communication and customer understanding. Kita suka kalau orang tu empathy. Dia macam service provider, they know the needs and requirements of their customer. Macam contohnya macam you pergi beli, you nak beli line telefon kan. Macam the service provider, dia akan tanya soalan-soalan yang dia memang empathy. Macam mana coverage tempat kita tinggal, adakah okey ataupun tak dan sebagainya lah. Okay? Macam kalau lah bila you masuk mana-mana telco company, kalau lah contohnya tiba-tiba hari tu you sakit kaki, then service provider bila customer service lah, bila dia nampak you macam tak berupaya nak jalan dengan laju, so dia akan ada empathy untuk bagi priority pada you, ataupun dia akan terus ambil kerusi ke. Yang ni lah yang kita akan bagi bonus mark kepada service provider. Bila diorang empathy, kita akan jadi macam loyalty, and then kalau kita akan berkira lah dengan orang yang macam ni. Kalau jual mahal pun I sanggup lah kalau ada empathy ni. Okay? I bagi contoh lah. When patient they undergo treatment, they may feel anxious, overwhelmed, and even terrified by the process. So macam kalau you pergi hospital, bila kita jadi takut-takut macam ni, nurse lah dia akan use the empathetic care, which is they want to help the patients to feel comfortable. So the empathy nurse, they will help build a trust connection with their patient by focusing on the patient's point of view lah. Macam kalau rasa macam patient tu sakit, takut-takut dengan injection, dengan jarum, dia akan gunalah cara pendekatan kita nak suruh patient tu rasa macam comfortable lah dia. Okay? The empathy ni dia is very essential to promote a good dialogue lah with the patient about their discomfort, worries and preferences lah. Okay? And then for the responsiveness, it is the willingness to help and provide prompt service to the customers. It is closely related to the helpfulness and promptness lah. Macam I bagi contoh ubat-ubatan ni. Kenapa I bagi contoh ubat? Macam saat kita berdepan dengan pandemik COVID-19, so I bagi banyak contoh yang berkaitan dengan MCMO lah. Macam contohnya sekarang ni, for the elderly ataupun untuk patient, government dia memperkenalkan perkhidmatan ubat melalui pos, UMP lah. Yang ni patient tak perlu pergi hospital dah. So hospital dia akan post ubat-ubat. They will post the prescribed medication to the patient by use the courier by post laju lah. Okay, this is one of the effort by the government, and it is a smart collaboration between the Ministry of Health and hospital lah under the National Blue Ocean Strategy. Okay, so, kenapa? Sebab kita nak mengurangkan rantaian kontak. Kita nak hapuskan rantaian COVID ni. Kita nak galakkan semua orang berada di rumah. Tak perlu nak ke mana-mana jika ada urusan. Hanya boleh keluar rumah jika ada urusan yang penting saja. Okay. And then this is a summary for the dimension of the service quality. Kita ingatlah kita ada serve qual attribute reliability, responsiveness, assurance, tangible, okay. I think that's all for the lecture today. See you when I see you. Okay, Assalamualaikum.